Hey everybody, it is Mel again. So, if you are new to knitting, you're probably going to ask yourself at some point, what do I do with this tail hanging off my needle after I've cast on my stitches? Well, I know two things you can do about that. The first thing is you can just knit it into your project. That is what I like to do, that is what I recommend. But another option is if you're done with your project and you find that you still have loose yarn that has not yet been connected, you can grab a tapestry needle, which is one of these guys right here. It looks like a regular needle except big AF. And you use that to weave the yarn into your project, and that's how you can secure it and make sure it doesn't unravel. So I will show you how to do both of those methods right now. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get this tail in and just knit it into your project. So what you want to do is take both strands of yarn, both the tail and the yarn that's attached to your spool, and then just knit them together. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it 3 times. So you take both strands, like again, or wrap them around your needle, and then you do your knit stitch. And because I like to be secure, I do that 3 times. Getting a little bit of blur here. Okay, we're trying that again. I do not know why I get so much freaking blur on this camera. So that's 1, right? And now you, again, both strands around, 2, and then you do it a 3rd time. Now after 3 times, that's plenty. It is secure enough. You don't need to keep doing that. You can just go ahead and drop that tail off right now. Don't cut it, don't get rid of it yet. You're going to need it later, but just drop that off for now, and then you continue knitting normally with just 1 strand, the one attached to the spool, not the tail, and then you just knit to the end of your row, and then I'll show you what to do with the rest of it. Okay, so here we are. We're almost at the end. We have 1 more normal stitch, which is single loop hanging out, right? So again, we just knit that the way we normally would. And now we're at the ones where we have 2 loops coming out of 1 stitch. So we're not gonna knit them individually. You're gonna put your needle under both of them at the same time, and then you're gonna wrap it around and you're gonna do your knit, okay? So again, don't want to take 1 loop and individually do it. I'm getting a little blurry. This blur is going to be the death of me. All right, I'm going to start a GoFundMe for a new phone. Anyway, so again, you get under both of those stitches. You don't want to treat them as individual stitches and give them each an individual or knit them each 1 time, because then you're going to end up with new stitches. So instead of this being 1, you're going to end up with 2. That makes any sense. So again, get right under both of them, treat them as 1 stitch instead of 2, and then you're done. So once you've done that, you are all gravy. You have completely secured. You can then at that point take this cast on tail and you can cut it off, because you're all done. It's in there, it's perfectly secure. Doing it 3 times is plenty. I've done 3 times on every single project I've ever knitted, and it's always been completely fine, all right? So the reason why I'm not gonna cut it off yet though is because I'm gonna use the string to show you how to weave in your ends. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how to weave in your ends, okay? So the first thing you need to do is just kind of look at the yarn. So you're gonna see how some of these kind of go down, some of them go up, down and up, right? So pay attention to that, because you're going to kind of use it as your guide to how to do this. So what you're going to do is insert it into whatever loop that you want to do. Does not matter, right? Now instead of going straight up, you're going to kind of go diagonal a little bit. So we're going to find another one that matches this one directly diagonal to it, right? So this one's going down. I think I might be upside down, so it might be going up for you. But the point is they need to be going in the same direction. And you're going to do a little diagonal action right through, okay? So then after you do that, go 1 over to the nearest one matching that one. So this one goes that way, the one right next to it goes that way as well, right? So you want to stick the needle in to that one. Then you want to go back into the first one, okay? And I dropped my yarn, so I'm going to rethread it and start again. All right, so we just pulled the yarn through here. So now we're going to go to the loop right next to it. Going to go 1 over, and we're going to put it right in, okay? And then we're going to send that one back through the loop that we just did. And we're going to keep going like that. I'm actually going to show you this with the contrasting color now so that you can really see how well this works. It's kind of getting lost and hard to show you on the same color. So let me get you some gray thread so you can really see what's going on here, okay? Okay, so here we are with contrasting thread. So again, we have, you know, the little frowns and smiley faces, right? So I'm going to go into one arch. And then I'm going to go into a diagonal arch, and we're going to pull that yarn straight through. Then I'm going to go to the one right next to it. All right, and then I'm going to work my way back to where I was at first. All right. And then I'm going to go to the one right next to this one, right next to it. And then I'm going to go back to where I was at first. You're always just going to go one over and then back to where you were at first, okay? So now I'm going to go one over. Wait, that's a crown? Yeah, okay. One over and then back to where I was at first. So you don't have to do this a million times. It's already pretty secure. And when you flip it over, as you can see, you can't even see it. It's completely invisible. So a lot of times you're going to have a two-sided project and you don't want to be able to see all this weaving in. You will not be able to see it on the other side, especially if you're doing it with the same exact color, then you really won't be able to see it. So that is how you weave in your ends. I'll show you one more time. So we're going to go right to the one right next to it, right? Just one over, and then we're going to hook it right back into where we were the last time. So that is how you do it. You can keep doing that as often as you want. You can really stop right now. That bad boy is pretty secure. It's not going anywhere. If you're paranoid because you're new at knitting, feel free to do it a million times. You are not going to be able to see it on the other side. So that's how you weave in your ends. My camera's not focusing again because it hates me, but hopefully you get the point.